Today, we'll be going ahead with a basic introduction to functions. So far, we've already dealt with a lot of inbuilt functions in Python. Now we'll look at how to define one of our own. Now, to start off, we define a function as a block of statements that is executed only when it's called. Functions help with encapsulation, which is basically wrapping code into one block, and this helps with neater codes that are easier to understand. Then comes abstraction, that is, to the user, only the use of the function or the purpose of the function is known and not its inner workings and other technicalities. And there are many more properties exhibited by functions. Now, you'll see that these have many applications as you go further. Now, let us look at how a basic function looks like. So, initially, you have to define the function, and then you got to call the function. And how would you define a function? Use the define keyword, def, followed by the name of the function and the parameters or arguments enclosed within brackets. And then whatever the function has to return, you would put that. In this case, it would print hello world. Now, when I call the function using the name of the function, it returns hello world, as you can see. Now, you can pass parameters and also return values from a function. How would you do that? You would, in this example, define function 2 of n. So, n is the parameter that you have passed. It has to print number passed n and return the string returned, right? So, this is the value that you want to return. But in order to print this, you need to use the command print when you call your function. And this is your output. Usually, functions require a certain set number of arguments to be passed. Now, let us look at this example. Define function 3 of ABC, and it has to print inside function. Now, what this means is that you have specified A, B, and C as your arguments. That is, there has to be 3 arguments, no more, no less. So, when you call the function with 3 arguments, it returns inside function as specified. But if you call any number of arguments that is less than 3 or greater than 3, it's going to return an error, right? Now, since the order of arguments is very important, okay, Python really makes it important for you to consider the order of the arguments that you're passing. So it can get really confusing, right? So in such cases, it's always better to use keyword-based arguments, okay? How would you do that? Function 4 of name is equal to IST, ID is equal to 4, role is equal to 2021. You can see the order in which I have called this particular function is name, ID, roll number, right? But when I define the function, the order is totally different. It's ID, name, roll number. And so what this shows is using keyword-based arguments, you can overlook the fact that order matters, okay? Now, in some cases, you might need to declare a default value for a parameter, okay, in case no value has been passed for that parameter when you call the function. Now, in this case, for example, define function 5 of name is equal to IST, print name, okay. Now, what this means is that when you call the function, if at all you overlook the particular parameter name, okay, you overlook adding a value to that argument. In this case, I've called the function 5 brackets, right? So you can see I have not put any value to the name argument. So in such cases, Python is going to consider the value of name to be ISTE by default, and it's going to print it. So this is actually how you declare a default value. When you define the function, just give the give the argument name and give a default value to it using the equal to sign. All right. Now, in case it is not known how many arguments are going to be passed, okay, now there could be many scenarios of such. For instance, suppose you want the user to write down a sentence for you, right? So in such a case, you wouldn't know how many words would the user type in, right? So in such cases, you can use the star args. Okay. Now what this means is star followed by a name for the argument. All right. So Python treats it like a tuple and the order is preserved. You can use it in combination with normal arguments. Now look at this example here. Define function 6, a, b star random. So a and b are normal arguments, whereas random would be would take in any number of arguments. Okay, so you can see if I look at the type of random, it is returned as a class tuple. If I call the function 6 of 1, 2, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1 and 2 are taken as a and b respectively, whereas 5, 6, 3, 2 are all defined as a tuple under the name random. And to print it, you can use a for loop as such. For I in random, print I. Okay. Now, here also you can make use of keywords. Okay. If you are passing a number of arguments, okay, but under separate keywords. So to do so, you need to use double star followed by the name of your argument. In this case, double star D. Okay. Now, in such a case, the passed argument would be read as a dictionary. You can see type of D is a dictionary. Okay. So now if I call the function as function 7 of name is equal to ISTE, year is equal to 2021, it stores it as a dictionary with name and year as the keywords and ISTE and 2021 to be the values of each respectively. All right. Now if you want to access any of those values, you can just access it like you would access any value of a normal dictionary, right? Dictionary name, brackets, keyword. All right. Now you can combine them both also. Define function 8 of star t double star d, right? So star t, if you look at the type of that, it would be a tuple, and double star d would be a dictionary. If I call the function 8, 1, 2, 3, name is equal to ISTE, 1, 2, and 3 would be considered to be a tuple under the name D, whereas name is equal to ISTE would be considered, because it is a keyword-based argument, right? It is a keyword-based argument. So it would be considered to be a dictionary under the name D, right? So, all right, so that's it for this session. Hope you guys found this helpful. Feel free to post your doubts in the comment section, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.